Welcome back to Happily Home Cooking. Today we're making the ultimate rotisserie chicken noodle soup. A few key ingredients make this soup stand above the rest while still being an easy one-pot recipe that comes together in no time. Craving homemade soup but don't want to deal with raw chicken or boring bland flavors? Then come on into the kitchen with me and I'll show you how we make our favorite rotisserie chicken noodle soup. So for our soup, we'll have all the usual suspects you'd expect to find in chicken soup, including, of course, chicken. You know we're big fans of Costco's rotisserie chicken, and that's what we're using today. We'll also be adding fresh onion, garlic, celery, and carrots, but we also like to add a couple unexpected ingredients, including jalapeno and zucchini. These will add even more depth of flavor and texture to our soup. We're going to have a few more unique ingredients later in the recipe too, but first, let's get these veggies and aromatics chopped. First up is one large yellow onion. Next, about 5 cloves of fresh garlic. Three large or 4 smaller stalks of celery. 3 medium-sized carrots, and 1 jalapeno. I know jalapeno isn't a traditional chicken soup ingredient, but it's going to give your soup a nice, well-rounded depth of flavor. If you remove the seeds and veins, it won't be spicy, but if you want to give your soup some kick, leave them in. All right, our veggies are chopped and we're ready to get cooking. So I've got a large soup pot on a medium heat. We'll add about 2 tablespoons of olive oil to it. Then toss in those aromatics we chopped to develop their flavor. I'm just going to cook these for a few minutes until those onions are translucent. While those are sauteing, I'm going to cut up 1 zucchini. This is another non-traditional ingredient I like to add. Zucchini has mild flavor, so it integrates really well into our soup, and I like the added texture and nutrition it adds. But of course, if you're not a zucchini fan, you could leave this out. Once our aromatics have started to cook down a bit, we'll toss our zucchini into the pot, along with 14 cups of water. You'll notice that I'm not using chicken broth. Instead, I like to use better than bouillon. It has a wonderful flavor. You can easily adjust how flavorful your broth is by how much of this bouillon you add. The general suggestion is a teaspoon per cup of water, so I'm going to add 2 giant heaping tablespoons. I'm also going to season our soup with some salt. I'm using sea salt today, but you could also use seasoning salt. Add it to your taste. I'm adding about 3/4 of a teaspoon. We'll also add a teaspoon of ground black pepper. You could even add some red pepper flakes if you want a little bit of spice. And lastly, for our seasonings, we'll add some dried parsley, 1 tablespoon. Now we'll stir all those seasonings and bring this up to a simmer. We'll let it go for about 15 minutes to cook those veggies and develop our flavorful broth. While that's going, we'll pull apart our rotisserie chicken. I'm just going to use the chicken breast, and we'll save the legs and thighs for something else. We use Costco's rotisserie chicken for tons of recipes, so if you'd like to see more of those, make sure you are subscribed to our channel. And I'll also add links to some of those recipes in the description for you. You can chunk your chicken if you like. I like to just shred it by hand into some good-sized pieces, not too small or else it will kind of disintegrate into your soup. And I think one of the great things about homemade soup is having the nice big chunks of meat and veggies. None of those tiny little pieces you're having to search for to find like in a canned soup. So once your soup veggies are getting tender, we're ready to add our pasta. Now, I know chicken noodle soup would traditionally call for noodles, but I like to mix things up a little bit and use orichette pasta, specifically pasta that's made in Italy. You may think dried pasta is dried pasta, at least that's what I used to think, but pasta made in Italy actually has a completely different texture. It maintains a really delightful chewiness that I find other pastas lack. I also like using orichette simply because of its shape. I just find it's easier to scoop up with a spoon than noodles. Use whatever kind of pasta you like. This is my recommendation. We'll also add in our rotisserie chicken at this time too. Now give it all a gentle stir. I say gentle because again, we don't want to break apart our chicken too much. And we'll let our soup continue simmering until our pasta is cooked. How long exactly will depend on the kind of pasta you use. I do find the Italian pasta does take a little longer to cook, about 20 minutes, but that little extra time is well worth it. And if you need to leave the soup warm on the stove longer than that, the Italian pasta won't turn to mush like some other noodles. As always, check your seasonings, make sure your soup is just the way you like it, and then you are ready to serve and enjoy. Soups really are such an easy and nutritious one-pot meal, and I hope you enjoy this one. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you stuck around this long, drop us a like, and before you go, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more of our family's favorite home cooking recipes. We'll see you next time. Until then, I wish you a beautiful day and happy home cooking.